fight for fourth. Ziski's right there hammering down as well. Then the 10W of Morlock as we get Abizade, Morgan, Bradway, and Urton, your top group. Ziski into fifth spot. Abizade into the corner as Morgan closes up behind him in this first 10-lap event. Ziski trying to reel in Urton as they go down the backstretch, but Urton is trying to open up some room now. Morgan staying right with Abizade. Smith is in sixth position. Then it's Morlock, Billy Wallace, Larry Lightfoot, and Steve Stein. 5 laps already gone in this 10-lap first heat race for the Pacific Sprint Fall Nationals here in Chico, 1994. Yellow flag is out at Ziski, sideways in turn number 2. Now Billy Wallace stopping over here in the third turn. He just pulls up there and stops after the fact. We don't know what happened to Wallace. And again, it's the 15W of Ziski who causes the caution flag over here in turn number 2. Now, on the backstretch, they get the green light. Everybody jockeying for position. It's Abizade, though, storming into the lead once again. Urton going to the top of Bradway as they go into turn 1, and Kevin Urton is going for third. Urton into the number 3 spot. He's leaving nothing to chance. And also he's thinking about those all-important points. He's already a fast qualifier. Trouble for Abizade as he leaves the racetrack. Mark Abizade drops out while leading. What a tough break for Abizade. Looked like he had a sure spot in the main event, but something goes awry as Morgan and Urton, the 2 Placerville runners, run 1-2. It looks like Morlock is worked up in the next spot as Smith is right there in the number 21. Here comes Ziski back through in the 15W, but currently it's Morlock in the 10H in the transfer spot. White flag is out. Morgan and Urton flying into turn number 1. Here comes Ziski working up on Morlock as they go into turn number 1. The fight for fourth. Ziski's all over and going down the backstretch. The checkered flag is out. It is Morgan. There comes the 14 of Urton, followed by Bradway and Ziski. Ziski makes it. Morlock is 1 car out in the 10. Showdown between Gary Morgan and Kevin Urton, 2 of the main runners at the Placerville Speedway, as they run 1-2 in heat number 1, followed by Alan Bradway, and a last-minute gas by Mark Ziski earns him 4th spot. $11 cars to go 10 laps. Pace quickens coming off of turn number 4. The green light is on and we're underway. First man to the turn is Stephen Allard. Sliding off the edge in 94R is Gordon Rogers. Rogers back to the racetrack, but he lost a great deal in the process. Stephen Allard in front of Glenn Bonet. Then comes Jeremy Lowe in the 11L, 5H John C. Anderson, and 44C Sparky Howard. Well underway in our second heat race of this first night of this Fall National Pacific Sprint Car Showdown here at Silver Dollar Speedway, as Stephen Allard takes the Tyner number 83 past the line, chased by Glenn Bonet. Jeremy Lowe Then John C. Anderson, Sparky Howard, the number 12 of Randy Ridge is next in line. Then Herman Klein, Kerry Wood, the 3T of Ty Hawkins. The 97 making a move now is Jeff Hartjoy, and 94, Gordon Rogers. Allard begins to stretch it out. Here comes Sparky making a move underneath the 5H, but the yellow light comes on. Kerry Wood sitting in turn number 2 in car number 30. Kerry Wood drawing the yellow.
You gotta get that 30 squared away. Come on, you guys.
Single file on the backstretch. They pick it up again. Ty Hawkins gets off momentarily, but then gets back underway. Back to speed. The fight currently for 4th. Low gains by the yellow. He had backslid to 5th. Now he's back to 3rd because of the restart. As Allard continues to lead with Bonet running next in line. Upside down over in turn number 4. The red flag is out. .5H car of John C. Anderson. The OCR-backed JB inline diesel repaired on Hanson equipment number 5H. Anderson and a cloud of smoke off of turn number 4. And the red flag comes out to stop the action. We can see the left rear tire is completely gone off the car. We have confirmed that out with engine problems, Billy Wallace in the 6W and the number 6 car of Steve Watts. Both those cars are out with engine problems, and now the number 5H as we get set to go back to racing speed here in Chico. Long cool-off period for these teams. Allard gets back up to speed. Oh, Ridge gets sideways. Klein tags him. Here on the outside goes Ty Hawkins. So far it's Allard, Bonet, then comes Lowe in the 11L, followed by Sparky Howard, then Randy Ridge, Herman Klein, Ty Hawkins, Gordon Rogers, then comes Hartjoy and Wood. Down to the checkered, it will be Stephen Allard in car number 83, followed by Bonet, Lowe in the 11L, and 44C Howard, top 4 from this second heat race tonight. So in the opening night, our second heat race won by Chico's Stephen Allard. He is followed by Glenn Bonet in the Naylor number 7N, 11L Jeremy Lowe, 44C Sparky Howard completes the top 4. 92 Andy Forsberg. Off the turn, good looking start, getting a slight edge is the 35 of Maine, but Lambert gets the speed up on top. Trouble in front of us, and sideways is the 24 car. Somehow everybody gets around him, including Forsberg and the 18 of Bammer, but sitting down here is car number 24, Chad Hawkins. Caution light, no start. Regrouping with the bump of the 24 car back in the field. Same results as Lambert this time beats Maine off the corner in the Jack Gordon RV Special. Maine will follow in second. Taves breaks into third. Then comes McCreary, Rich Tyner, Jim Richardson, and Andy Ferris. Heat number 3 here in Chico is underway. Lambert just storms away from the field. A big gap is opened between first and second. And then we see a similar gap now opened up between third and fourth between Taves and McCreary. Tyner all over McCreary coming off of turn number 2. Tyner getting into the bottom of the racetrack, but McCreary holds him off going into the north corner. 3 laps gone in this 10-lap third heat race here at this fall national program for Pacific Sprint Cars. Well, it looks like the Taves may have gained slightly on Maine in the fight for second. Meanwhile, it's still McCreary and Tyner battling it out. Now Jim Richardson is in there in car number 51 in the fight for fourth. Lambert is just screaming away from the field in the Jack Gordon number 1C. Lap count begins to grow short as we get into the final couple of rounds. The white flag will come out here this time around for Scooter Lambert, as Lambert's got him covered by a mile here. And the fight for fourth, the only thing to really talk about as Richardson tries to reel in McCreary. Lambert all the way in the 1C. Danny Maine will be a solid second in the 35. Then comes Taves. And it looks like Mike McCreary will bring home fourth in the 71, followed by Richardson, Rich Tyner, then the 41 of Ferris, the 23F of Faltings would be next in line. Well, for the first time, one of our top qualifiers fails to make the cut. That is Richardson, who is one car out. He had tracked down fourth place runner Mike McCreary, but could not make the pass, as Scooter Lambert picks up the third heat race. Scott and car number 88, Jeff Malden. Mark Hall in the 54 has got his work cut out. Then the 78 of David McCreary, 4P Trip Rubage, and 72B Glenn Borden. That is your field for the fourth and final heat race here in this preliminary night. We have a C, a B, and an A main event yet to go. Field is ready, coming down off the turn. So far the starts have established the pick. Green light is waved, and it stays on. Lights on, flag waving, and that will stand. It was a little bit of a haphazard start as the BC driver, Tyson Cross, jumps into the lead. We've got the 88 of McMahon. Shane Scott is into fourth now. Scott goes underneath Graham. Graham drops to fourth spot. Here comes Mark Hall as Hall gets around Malden. Malden upside down as he goes in for in, and turn number 4, the red flag will be out. Jeff Malden upside down in the fourth corner to draw the red flag. Malden just kind of got hooked up over there, a couple of cars bouncing around in that corner, and ultimately a little contact. Then he hooked up on the ledge of dirt on the outside, and then he toppled in for end and landing again kind of on its side, left-hand side, coming down in that fourth corner. Jeff Malden's 88. Of course, your fourth fast qualifier. What a tough break. He's got good count there, but he's going to have to come back to that B, it appears, unless his team is really prepared to make some quick repairs. Single file order, Cross in the 09, followed by McMahon in the 88. Then Shane Scott and George Graham, followed by the 0J of Jay Cole, then Mark Hall in the 54. Jay Cole now getting up on 2 over in turn number 4. Cole's car hooked up a little bit too hard for the racing surface, and it is Tyson Cross setting the pace in the 09. Hall now in the 4th spot as he wheels underneath Graham. Mark Hall up to 4th position. He comes all the way from about 8th starting position. Trying to track down Shane Scott and Bobby McMahon now. Tyson Cross, meanwhile, holds the advantage. Hall will be deep in the main event field, though. David McCreary getting around Graham for 5th if someone should fall out, as Hall sizes up Scott coming down the front straightaway. 6 laps are gone, 4 laps to go. Continues to be the colorful 09 all the way from Langley, BC, Canada. Tyson Cross, the 20-year-old driver and a Jack Cross gambler, a regular up at the Skagit Speedway in his 2nd year of sprint car racing. Here's Hall and Scott still fighting it out for 3rd. David McCreary back in 5th, followed by George Graham, then Trip Rubich in the 4P. 72B, Glenn Borden, 0J, Jay Cole, and your leader takes the white flag. Tyson Cross looking for victory here in Chico. Looks like he's got him covered into turns 3 and 4. Tyson Cross will pick up the win. Bobby McMahon is 2nd, followed by Shane Scott and Mark Hall. Looks like David McCreary, oh, something's happened to Graham's cars. It goes wide open exhaust coming down the stretch. And it's Rubich in the 4P. So Tyson Cross in the Murdy Transportation 4-star auto body, Ag Belt Industries gambler, picks up the victory as he is chased by Bobby McMahon out of Sacramento in the Roy Bumgarner Sports Racing Fuel. Northgate Petroleum, JB Enterprise Taylor Wings number 88. 24F. Shane Scott finishes 3rd, goes to the main event along with Mark Hall in car number 54. Jeff Malden. Apparently he will not make it out as the pace vehicle is called away, and we have a new front row. B main event time. Remember, 4 cars make it. 2 will go by their times. The best they can do is 9th and 10th in the starting grid. Third and 4th will tag the back of the feature. We're set to go. 15 laps of distance. Well, everybody keeps running, but there's a wing, I believe, over in the turn. We stay green, though, as we're underway in this B feature with Jim Richardson leading in car number 51, Rich Tyner running 2nd in the 20, then comes Randy Ridge in the 12, and I believe it's Mark Abizade currently, no, it's the 0J, correction, of Jay Cole, followed by the 21 of Jay Smith. B main event opening night. Now as Richardson just gets underneath Kerry Wood, lapping the 30 car. Now Rich Tyner dealing with Wood coming down the backstretch. Here comes Ridge going for 2nd. Tyner makes a bid to the bottom and clearly makes the pass, as does Ridge in car number 12. Your top 3 running at speed. Dropping off the racetrack now, I believe it was Abizade. Going into the pits in the 27 car, Mark Abizade falling out of the grid. Don't know what happened there. Mechanically related, we're sure. Trouble over here in the turn. It is Bammer in the 18 car drawing the red. Red flag is out as Todd Bammer is up in the air on lap number 5 over here in turn number 4. We couldn't see what started it. There was cars going many directions. Bammer's front axle badly damaged, but it looks like the top wing is saved. Front wing maybe slightly displaced. Pioneer Towing is over to give an assist. Looks like they'll be on to Bammer's car quickly. He looks just fine as he talks to the track officials. Single file on the backstretch. Jim Richardson, Rich Tyner, Randy Ridge. Picking it up down the backstretch. Jay Cole runs fourth. Then comes the 21 car of Jay Smith. Trouble in the turn. Larry Lightfoot forced to the infield. Lightfoot keeps it going. Now we get the 40 of Klein on there. Both cars off the racetrack. We're underway. Jim Richardson, your leader, followed by Rich Tyner, Randy Ridge. Then comes Jay Smith now up to fourth spot, followed by 24 Chad Hawkins. Here's Lightfoot running up against the wall as the leader comes up on him. Oh, Richardson hooks a rut. He's in trouble. Here goes Tyner. Jim Richardson, a rut in turn number 1, and he hikes it all the way to the right. Down the backstretch, Rich Tyner, your new leader, followed by Jim Richardson, Randy Ridge, Jay Smith, Chad Hawkins, George Graham, then Andy Ferris and David McCreary. Andy Forsberg is next. Front of your pack coming up on lapped cars as Tyner pulls up on Lightfoot and Kerry Wood. Tyner has to take a low line into turn number 3. Richardson, Ridge, Smith, and Hawkins follow. Have a car dropping off of turn number 1. I believe it's Forsberg's 92 dropping out. With 12 laps complete, 3 laps to go. Smith and Hawkins fighting it out. Hawkins moves up a spot. Now trouble for the 97J. Ridge is out of the groove. In fact, Hawkins will get underneath him as the white comes out. We've got Lightfoot on the backstretch. We've got trouble in several locations coming down for the finish. It'll be a yellow checkered, it appears. Yellow light, and the checkered will be there as well. It's going to be Tyner, the 51 of Richardson, and we'll have to wait and see how this shakes out. Because actually the yellow was out even though the checkered followed, so we're going to have to go back, I believe, to the 14th lap to verify that, but I'm sure that Rich Tyner was in control at that point. The caution light was out as the 97J of Jeff Hartjoy lost power. Looked like the suspension may have broken, and then Larry Lightfoot, the 26, stopped on the backstretch. Well, interesting lineup here. You know, we tout all of the experienced drivers and the drivers that have done so well in past outings here at the Speedway. Jim Taves, who has ran, of course, many sprints and has been a front runner down at Hanford Speedway, suddenly comes to Chico and sits in the front row along with the 11L of Jeremy Lowe. He made his first trip here last Saturday night. So 2 drivers with relatively low or light experience in sprint cars starting out front. 25 laps of distance set to go here, about to set green. Main event time, opening night, this fall Nationals. A green light comes on. It is the 34 of Jim Taves as he shoots into the lead, and it is the 11L Lowe running in second spot. Then comes Shane Scott in the number 24, followed by a host of folks, including Kevin Urton on the top of the racetrack in car number 14. 44C Sparky Howard is right there as Howard out drags Urton down the backstretch. Then the 88 of Bobby McMahon trying to get to the bottom of the track. As McMahon tries to pull up on Urton, he can't quite do it. Gary Morgan was up in the air as he wheel stood off of the fourth corner. Continues to be Taves in car number 34 as we look down. Oh, and Shane Scott almost gets upside down. He loses the position to the 44C of Howard. Sparky Howard goes into third. Car on its side, turn number 4, we're going to have a red flag. Red flag is out. It looks like the 15W car of Mark Ziske. They say he is okay. We were trying to find out what's going on over in turn number 4. C leads Jeremy Lowe and Sparky Howard. Cone is over. We don't know who hit it, but somebody hit the cone on the backstretch. They've been told any driver hitting the cone will be penalized, and it was nailed as Taves leads this one with Lowe running next. Here's Urton on the top of the racetrack trying to get up on Shane Scott. Bobby McMahon trying to make a move as well in car number 88. Heavy traffic down through the turn. Here's Urton and Scott fighting it out. Scott's car hooked up just a little too hard, or so it appears. Once again, he's up on two wheels as McMahon and now Gary Morgan go after him coming down the stretch. Now we've got Richardson slowing the 51 cars. Taves shoots by, Lowe still in tow. Here comes Howard in the 44C, followed by Urton and Bumgarner in the next spot. Looks like Jim Richardson stops up in turn number 3. He loses a lap in the process, and here is the yellow. So Jim Richardson losing a lap, parked up in turn number 3, and they have identified the 44C. So they're trying to make the penalty effective now. Sparky probably doesn't know the reason. Penalty can be assessed now or at the end, but it appears that they'll try to assess it right now. Object is to keep the cars in straight alignment for the start. Here we go. Now we get Urton and McMahon waved in front of him. Again, the cone infraction. And we'll again watch the cone on the backstretch, see if it stays standing this entire distance. Coming down for the restart, 6 laps complete. Car number 34, Jim Taves. This time the cone survives, and it is Taves roaring by us with Jeremy Lowe in the number 2 spot. And here comes Kevin Urton into the number 2 position. Lowe gets out of the groove. Both Urton and McMahon slide by. And here comes Sparky Howard back into the field. Now Kevin Urton begins to close some of that gap. Lowe way out of the groove. That moves up Gary Morgan and a host of others as they begin to close up some midfield. But so far, Jim Taves from Reedley, California, the class of the field, is this 30-year-old driver in his first year of sprint car racing, leads this event by about a quarter of a straightaway, maybe a little more than that, almost a full straightaway. Look at the race for second between Urton and McMahon as they go wheel to wheel. Lap traffic, though, will be a problem for the young driver in the 34. Can Taves withstand the traffic situation? Oh, we've got Rich Tyner going over here in turn number 4. Another red flag as Tyner gets upside down. He goes end over real quickly and lands back on all four. Rich Tyner in car number 20 to draw the red flag, now with 10 laps complete. Rich Tyner in car number 20, a quick snap roll over here in the fourth turn. He's in the car, he is not injured, and they're going to try to get over there and make some quick repairs now. Ace Jeep is called aside. Taves, Burton, McMahon, Howard, Morgan, and Scott, and the 1C. Oh, suddenly we got the 7N in the picture, but the green light is coming on as they bump and run down the backstretch. Glenn Bonet gets back to the way. Oh, Kevin Urton out of the groove. Here's Gary Morgan upside down. And another red flag is needed as Gary Morgan is upside down this time in turn number 4. Everybody being so aggressive and hooking up so hard down here in turn 3 and 4, where it's extremely tacky. They actually need to unhook their race cars a little bit, but it's so difficult because everybody's so fast they want to try to maintain position. Understand that Scooter Lambert is doing a tire change, which will lose position. The 1C car needs a tire apparently in the left rear. And they're over checking on Morgan right now down here in turn number 4. Actually, Kevin Urton is the one that got so far up in the air. Looked like Urton was going to go for a spill, and then he got his recovered, but Morgan was unable to do the same. I get a little bird's eye view here of some of the damage. Again, it looks like a lot of the bolt-on components, so possibility that Morgan can make it back. Taves on the backstretch. Green light is again lit here in Chico. Again, you can see the car still struggling down here between 3 and 4. Urton up to the top of the racetrack, but it is Taves, the front man. Now we've got the 09 stopping here in front of us as Tyson Cross will again bring out the yellow. Trouble for Tyson Cross on the restart, and all is for naught. Taves, Urton, McMahon, Howard, Scott, then Allard, Bradway, Mark Hall, Danny Main, then comes Jim Richardson, the 24 of Chad Hawkins. Now you can see the drivers seem to be handling that fourth turn a little bit better in this restart. Everybody's still going for position now. Urton on top, McMahon on the bottom. McMahon all the way to the bottom will take second. Bobby McMahon into the number 2 spot. Urton is dropped to third. Here comes Sparky Howard and Stephen Allard fighting it out for the next 2 spots. Shane Scott is right there in the 24F, but it continues to be Taves in the 34. What a job that Jim Taves has done out of Reedley, California. He has survived several red flags. He has survived traffic and, of course, the challenge of several veteran drivers. Taves' car is perfect through the corners. It is handling superb. It holds the turns. It keeps steady on the bottom of the racetrack. McMahon tries to get the Bumgarner number 88 to his rear bumper. Now Bobby seems to have his machine working perfectly as Urton is next. It's Sparky Howard and Shane Scott, Stephen Allard, Alan Bradway, and Mark Hall, followed by Danny Main, Chad Hawkins, Jim Richardson, Rich Tyner, Glenn Bonet, Mike McCreary, then Scooter Lambert, and the 11L of Lowe. Your leader in traffic now. Remember, he is relatively inexperienced. We have traffic now on the 16th lap, but he gets around the 11L cleanly as Lowe goes down a marker. He's got Bobby McMahon all over him. Taves has got to make some moves. He sticks to the bottom. He's not about to get McMahon on the inside. Taves out of the group. McMahon is your new leader. In traffic, the experience shows off as Bobby McMahon takes the front spot. McMahon down the front stretch, Taves in pursuit. Continuing to push the Bumgarner number 88 now is Bobby McMahon. Taves holds on to second. Kevin Urton is third, then Sparky Howard, followed by Shane Scott, Stephen Allard, Mark Hall, and Alan Bradway. 20 laps deep into the scheduled 25-lap race. Jim Taves still pursuing Bobby McMahon. 21 laps now as we continue to see the lap count go by the wayside. It was scheduled for 25, and of course the time is also beginning to leave us for this one. An opening night of this Pacific Sprint Fall National. Smoke off of Glenn Bonet's car. Your leader in traffic going down the backstretch. McMahon all over Scooter Lambert's 1C. Taves is right on his rear bumper. We'll have 23 laps down, 2 laps to go. Urton still solidly in third. Sparky Howard and Shane Scott follow. Then Mark Hall, Stephen Allard, Alan Bradway. Here comes your lead cars. They'll be coming up for the white as McMahon leads them past the white flag. Taves is right there as they go into heavy traffic in the turn. It's heavy traffic. Can they get through there cleanly? The question as McMahon goes down. Taves is right there. Taves on the top, and McMahon holds it on the bottom. Bobby McMahon, Jim Taves, Kevin Urton, then comes Sparky Howard, followed by the 24 of Scott and 54 Mark Hall. May have lost an engine. Smoke bellowing out of Hall's cars. He went past the line. And Hall, I believe, may have lost an engine right there at the checkered flag as he finishes in 6th spot. And he comes to stop on the backstretch. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, from Sacramento, California, in the Chico-based car, Bobby McMahon. Finishing second, what a job for the driver from Reedley, Jim Taves, in car number 34. Then the 14 car. The 14 of Kevin Urton, 44C, Sparky Howard, then Shane Scott and Mark Hall, unofficially your top 6. Bobby here is joining us front and center as Hall is up and out of his smoking car in the backstretch. Bobby and crew will be celebrating here front and center in just a moment. Racing Jason McMillan really put on a show here during the Gold Cup this year and then came back and won a main event last weekend in Bay Cities Racing Association midget action. And he turns a 12.503, 1.2503 for Jason McMillan. Puts him in a good position. He's hoping to craft the top 4 though. And a 12.290 will do it. 1.2290 fast time. 2Y, Jason McMillan, 71, Kevin Pilot, 89, Freddie Pleward, 15, Alan Howell, 33, Tim Worth, 2R, Randy Mello, and car number 82, driven by Tom Franco. All 12 report. We'll be watching again for 4 transfer spots. Also, we'll be watching the times to see where they come out of the qualifying order for lineup purposes. There will be a pill draw to determine how many are inverted in the main event as we get set. Green flag is out. First event of the night is underway. It is the 55 car jumping into the lead. We've got trouble for Tim Worth off of turn number 2. Green stays on, however. It is the 55 of Kennedy, followed by the 3X. Breaking out the next spot, Gary Gibbing. Here comes Tabor. Now Jason McMillan up in the 3rd spot. Currently 5th is the 91K, and the yellow flag is waving. 2R, Randy Mello stops down here in the turn 4 area to bring out the yellow flag with the first lap complete in this first heat race. Back stretch. Back in the green here in Chico. 55, Kennedy again the same result as the Canadian. Quickly grabs up the lead, followed by Giving, Tabor, McMillan, then the 91K of Bill Beaver. Mike Hubert, Kevin Pilot. Hubert losing power, Pilot zooms by in the 71, yellow flag is out. '82 car in turn number 1, Tom Franco drawing the yellow flag this time. Big thanks to Mom and Dad, Grandpa and Grandma for their support and backing as he again gets set to go. Kennedy picks it up on the chute, still with the 3X of Giving in tow. The green is out. Looks like Kevin Pilot gains a spot on Beaver, and Pilot is up to 5th. Tabor drifts to 4th position as McMillan moves into 2nd, as we're still under green. Now, Pierce and Howard trying to gauge what looked like for a moment that the 55 car having some problems. Kennedy, and Kennedy's car is not crisp as McMillan snaps up the lead. There is a problem for Kennedy. Kennedy falling back now. He had him covered there early on as Gary Giving will slide into the number 2 spot. Here goes the 36 of Tabor, and looks like Kevin Pilot will benefit from this situation as well as he pulls up now in the 71 in car. Meanwhile, it's McMillan out there by a ton. Pilot is up to 4th. 5th is the 91 of Beaver. 7 laps down, 3 laps to go. Top 4 positions to be determined. Correction, 6 laps are down, now 7. McMillan going by now with 8 laps in the book. 8 laps down here for Jason McMillan. And he is a full straightaway ahead of Gary Giving while Mark Tabor runs 3rd. Mark Tabor in trouble over here in turn number 4. Tabor gets it gathered in. Here comes Kevin Pilot. Pilot gets up on the 82 car, almost has to stop the machine of Franco. As we'll come down, the winner is McMillan. Second will go to Giving in the 3X. Tabor is next in line at 36 in, and it looks like Beeman will get around Pilot at the final moment. Jason McMillan in car number 2Y picking up the victory here as McMillan races the family 2Y in the first heat race to the winner's limelight. He is followed by 3X Gary Giving. Looks like Mark Tabor will nail down 3rd. Unofficially at the last moment, we believe it was the 91 Bill Beavert out of Snohomish, Washington, getting around. Again, 12 cars report for heat number 2. 4 cars transferring into the main event. Remaining cars will run a B or C main. As we mentioned, the best a car could hope for, though, coming from the B main tonight, will be a 9th starting spot. They start behind the maximum inversion. Off the turn they come. Pretty good looking start. Little contact there between Faber and Kading. And it's a 5B taking the lead. Bodden now. Kading going to the top of Bodden as they come down through 3 and 4. Leapfrog by Crockett's number 11. Bodden keeping the low line covered, so Kading goes to the top of the racetrack, but he is in jeopardy of losing second as Greg Blevins comes up in the 5B. Blevins now challenging Kading, will take over second as Kading drops back. Now off the edge of the 17X of Faber. He gets it gathered back in while running fourth. Crockett is fifth. Then comes Ivan Wood and the 17Y of Johnson. And they're really bunched up going down the backstretch. For the moment at least, it's David Bodden in front, with Brent Kading running up on top of the 17R. Kading going for the lead as they go through 1 and 2. Kading on top of the racetrack is your new leader. BK out in front of this one. Bodden is back underneath him as they come down the front straightaway. Kading has the lead, but drifts a little high in turn number 2. Bodden's right back after him. Then comes Blevins in third spot. Faber is next, followed by Crockett and Johnson. Now it's Bodden up and out of the grid as Blevins charges into second place in car number 5B. Here in our second heat race of the night at this second evening qualifying for the Pacific Sprint Fall Nationals 1994 here at Philadelphia Speedway. Off goes Tim Sherman in car number 87 just as Kading zooms by, sloped against the pour-off of Wonder Jim's number 91. 8 laps are complete. Between the number 5B of Blevins and 17X of Faber for third right now. Bodden is slid all the way to fifth as the white flag comes out to Brent Kading coming down the stretch. Kading wheels around the 73 of Brian Lawson as he charges for the north third. Your winner from Campbell, California, BK Brent Kading. He is followed by Greg Blevins in the 5B. Looks like the 17X of Faber. And the 5B of Bodden, unofficially your top four. Then I think it's the 17Y of Rob Johnson. Fast-moving second heat race captured by the King of California, Brent Kading, and the Riola Racing Team, Riola Racing Engines, MA Long Construction, number 17R as he... 79 Bob Brook. We have the 76 car, but right now it looks like 54H is out there. But yes, 76 will go in there. That is Denny Stewart. 28, Ty Maiden in car number 28. And the number 1, Tyler Haylett. Big heat races. 4 cars again. Looking for main event starting positions. Well, Shauna Hogue jumping out, but there is no start. There is no start. We have a yellow light. So again, that'll be withdrawn. So we'll realign the group without a lap complete for another attempted start here in heat number 3. Looking good coming around through 3 and 4, and we've got green again. This time, much better looking start. And jumping out in front is John Allard. Shauna Hogue in the next spot. Little collision in turn number 2. We're going to get another yellow, I believe. No, they keep going. Somehow they keep going. Denny Stewart is clobbered over there. The number 5 of Van Leer is caught up in it. What a tough break for both Van Leer and Stewart. And we stay under green here in the third heat race. So a tough break for a couple of top runners. As this race goes to full speed with John Allard, Shauna Hogue, Ray Rust, and 65 Rick Williams in the top. more spots. Mike Wasina's brake heated to cherry red, trying to track down Bob Brook in the 79 car. Remember the points they accumulate here, plus the main event starting position, as Allard slips up underneath Stewart, and it gave him a steer. Stewart got off the gas and let Allard go freely. Now with 4 laps complete, actually in the 5th round, we have 6 laps down. As Allard comes down here, it'll be lap number 7. 7 laps now. Allard scooting by Tyler Halen. He makes contact. He hit the left front on Halen's car. We don't know if any damage was done. He looks okay as he comes past us. Some contact on the backstretch, however. Here's a tightening of the 4th place battle as Bob Brook tries to get in there. Rick Williams gets underneath 2 slower cars. The white flag is out. And it's going to be the 35K of John Allard all the way, followed by Shauna Hogue. Ray Rust is in 3rd spot. Rick Williams is 4th. Then comes Bob Brook, Mike Wasina. Chico's John Allard in the Kent Kilroy owned number 35K, picking up this victory in the Kilroy Auto Dismantlers and Towing Special. Also a champion in the Oregon Trail. And 75M, Dan Minnie on the outside. He also comes up from the close to the Oregon border. 44B and 75M. 37 tonight, Mark Hewson of Linwood, Washington, and car number 17, Randy Tyner, your fastest qualifier of this group. Sean Finn in the 36, car number 72, Jeff Halab. 3D, Dave Davidson, car number 93, Rick Hurst, 32, Gary Matranga, and 54 each is Roger Hawes. Pick it up quickly and smoothly coming down off the turn 4. It is Nutter, first man to the turn, as Brown tries to get position. Look at the bunch behind him. Here goes the 37 of Hewson as he is forced all the way to the infield edge. We stay under green, however, as Hewson is forced off the racetrack. Nutter leads. Oh, look out for Tyner, as the losing power is Wasina. And boy, everybody trying to get around him. Davidson has nowhere to go. He stops the 3D car, and the yellow flag waves. I mean, everybody was hard on the throttle when Wasina just stopped going down the backstretch. We don't know what happened, but the car just really just came up short, and Dave Davidson kept going higher and higher and higher as Wasina worked towards the top of the racetrack, finally had nowhere to go. Makes contact and slides off the 3rd turn. Meanwhile, we've got on the infield, car number 37, Mark Hewson. Is the original school motor. The motor that was in the school car was being rebuilt. They borrowed another motor, put it in the school car, and now it's in Ray Rust's car. You got that? Okay, here we go, back to green. Nutter, now Greg Brown out of the group. Here comes Randy Tyner as they come down the stretch. Jeff Hallam and Dan Minnie looking for position. Nutter storms into the lead and holds his position. Brown, Tyner, and Hallam run the top 4. Hallam challenging Tyner as they come off of turn number 2, but for the moment at least, they seem to be pretty satisfied with their positions. Heat number 4 here on night 2 of the Pacific Sprint Fall Nationals at Silver Dollar Speedway. Benny High coming off of turn 4. Looked like Sean Finn had a shot at him. Tyner making a bid on the 44 of Brown, but so far, Brown has managed to hold him off. Nutter's gone. Now Tyner underneath Greg Brown. Randy Tyner has taken second. Tyner again a top qualifier, so he's looking for max points. Right now he has a shot at outpointing Kevin Urton from last night. As Tyner goes into the number 2 spot, he is in an excellent position, as is a couple of other drivers, especially Jason McMillan. Both McMillan and Tyner could outpoint Urton and take him out of the front row. That is a possibility. Nutter in traffic, works up on Haas as Tyner gains on him going down the backstretch. Tyner drives hard into turn 3. Nutter sees the white flag this time by. Tyner's all over him going into turn number 1. Now it looks like a little running room for Bill Nutter as he goes into the north corner. The checkered flag will be waving for the Oregon driver Bill Nutter. Tyner is second in line. In comes the 44B of Brown, 72 Halep, 75 M Mini, 37 has restarted but is down a lap. 36 Sean Finn should be in the next position. So Bill Nutter of Central Point, Oregon, picking up our third heat race. He joins John Allard, Brent Keating, and Jason McMillan. Randy Tyner, by finishing second, will accompany McMillan with a possibility of outpointing. Well, far from settled as we go 8 laps deep in the C-Main. Brent Dothage has a clear racetrack in front of him. Here comes Smith now trying to make a pass in the 75. And Smith gets upside down right in front of us as he was charging. Red flag is out. A tough break for Dale Smith as he was going for the number 4 spot. Coming off of turn number 4, he made contact with Denny Stewart's number 76 and toppled in for in, landing back on all fours. You can see he is crawling out of his race car and is okay. Well, 4 cars missing from this race as we get set to go in the B main. Green light comes on. Ivan Wharton, the first man to the corner. Wharton storms into turn number 3. Oh, the 37 of Houston almost upside down. He gets out of the groove and backslides to about 5th as he hooks up a little bit too hard. And we've got a car over in turn number 3 to draw the red. Y car in turn number 3. Rob Johnson of Santa Rosa getting caught up, and we get a red flag to delay this B feature. They're over there quickly getting the car back on its 4 wheels. Looks like it just kind of toppled over. Doesn't look real serious. Johnson's still in the race car, and there's a number of people there assessing the damage, if any. Left wing foil. He's out of the race car. He's just fine. He is fine over there in turn 3. Rob Johnson at 17Y. Crockett and Warden. Warden last time got the jump. Crockett will be trying to guide him in a little easier this time. Let's see what happens coming off the turn, and the green is waving. Good looking start. But again, it's Warden that gets in and slams the door. We get a little tangle between Dan Minnie and I believe it was the 5 of Dan Lair, and we've got another yellow. We know that it was 75 Minnie, and we believe it was Van Lair in the other car involved over in the corner for another no start situation here in our B main. So for the third time, Brian Crockett and Ivan Warden will attempt to get this B feature underway. This time Crockett gets the jump. He takes it out high and Warden gets underneath him, but Crockett gets the speed up quickly as they go down the back chute. Off the edge goes, I believe, the 5 car, but and the 86 of Mark McKay hooks up hard, but we keep without a caution flag as Warden goes into the lead. Ivan Warden in car number 63, followed by 11, Brian Crockett. Then Jason Finley in car 77. Kevin Pilot has worked up in the 71 in. And moving to withdrawal is the 37 of Mark Houston. Now the 55 on the outside of the racetrack of Darren Kennedy and Sean Finn have got a little battle going. Losing Houston's 37, we don't know what the problem is there, but he drops off the racetrack. Ivan Warden, Brian Crockett, 1-2, then Finley, Pilot, Kennedy, and Sean Finn. Well, after 3 attempted starts, the race gets underway. It goes non-stop. And of course, the big news. "25 laps, giving Bobber a 91K of Bill Beavert, Randy Tyner, Ray Rust, and Jason McMillan coming out of the front 3 rows, followed by Ivan Ward, Greg Brown, Mark Tabor, Jason Finley, Shauna Hogue, Brent Kading, and John Ellard, and David Bott. Green flag as we're underway. Into the wall is McMillan. McMillan and the 2Y into the wall here in the start, and we've got a yellow out immediately. So Jason McMillan tackled the wall here in the front stretch, a cement retaining wall, and he hit it pretty hard. I don't know if it's enough to damage the race car, but certainly it's enough to knock him to the back of the field. Gets pretty badly smashed on the 2Y car, and apparently there is some fuel seepage. Look at the back of that. It is just caved in. Basically, there's a whole bunch of fuel that's squeezed into the middle of that, but the bladder technology that is used today keeps it from actually breaking. So now the outside row gets a break too, at least behind where McMillan started. Moving up the cars that were on the outside. Greg Brown, Jason Finley, Brent Kading all gaining a spot as we're going to make another attempt at getting this 25-lap run underway. Green flag is offered, coming off the turn this time. Looking pretty safe coming down the stretch. Oh, and upside down is Giving in turn number 1. The first rollover of the weekend in turn number 1. It's Gary Giving in the 3X car. Giving going for a barrel roll up at the top of the corner. Now part of the dilemma is the cars are told not to pass the accident, but they have to just kind of negotiate to a safe spot because they're also told that they have to stop on the top of the racetrack off of the back straightaway. $18 cars set for the 3rd attempt at getting this feature run underway here tonight. The Washington front row, Bill Beavert and Rick Bobber will bring him down for the starting flag. Green light comes on once again here in Chico. Bobber here in the front stretch. Halep nowhere to go as he plows in. You can see Bobber moving around inside that race car after a nasty spill, getting up into this flag stand somehow. You can see the left arm moving around as he really takes a nasty crash here in the front stretch. He somehow catches a piece of the flag stand. You can see the flag stand door was pulled open. We can see parts and pieces flying all over. Well, we're checking now at starter Tony Silva as he had the flag knocked out of his hand in the process. And he said that his left hand was somehow injured in the process, but Tony nursing that right at the moment. And they're over there attending to Bobber right now. That's the way, and believe it or not, in sprint car racing that things are supposed to happen. All of those disposable parts are supposed to absorb the energy out of the crash. The real danger there is when that car is sitting cockpit towards the racetrack, such as you just saw, and another car unable to avoid the wreckage. That's what you really have to worry about.
Randy. Randy.
Okay, the word is that Rick Favre is responding to emergency crew, but they don't feel that he is really responding as they want him to. So they are going to put him on the gurney and transport him in for x-rays and a checkup. A backup ambulance has been notified, and they will be extraditing Favre from the 17 car here in a moment, and is in behind him. Now the plan, we're told, is to go single file for this next attempted start, and they would look. 16 cars ready for another try, single file this time. They're being checked over here on the backstretch, told that they have to start off at turn number 4, even though they're single file. Trouble this time for the 91K, Bill Beaver, as Beaver is off the racetrack and another yellow is needed. Well, let me tell you, we have seen stranger things, but tonight I don't think we can actually equal what's happened here so far. Right now we've lost our pole setter, Gary Giving, in the 3X car who flipped. The 17X outside front row car of Rick Favre who crashed. Now the 91K, Bill Beavert slides off of turn number 1 and has to go to the rear. All the way to the front was the 4th place starter. Randy Tyner is now your front car, but Ray Rust is right there with him. He should have been 5th. Now he's starting 2nd. Jason McMillan's out. Greg Blevins has dropped to the rear because of motor problems. In the previous crash was Greg Brown in the 44B. Ivan Warden has been in and out in the 63, but he still stays on the racetrack for currently 3rd. So basically Warden is coming from 8th to 3rd. We haven't got a green yet. The 77 of Finley is all the way to the back. Tabor's had problems. They had to change a tire in the 36 in, so he drops clear to the back. Brent Katie, who started back about 29th, is clear up into the 4th position. Okay, there aren't that many cars, I know that. Well, now here is the signs of a crew. Oh, they looks like they've combined a couple of race cars. They got Gary Matranka's rear tank on the 2 car. They saw what was going on, and this is alert work by the McMillan team. They had ample time. It looked like an unsurmountable project, but they could tell that the time was not exactly evaporating here, and so consequently they made repairs and brought McMillan out. Green flag once again. Randy Tyner out in front with Ray Ross 2nd. Brent Keating in 3rd as we get, a car spinning. It's Bill Nutter upside down, and Jason Finley catches him. Another red flag. Bill Nutter, and look at the right side of Jason Finley's 77 as he caught Nutter in the air. Nutter just caught up, looked like he almost got caught by a windstorm over there as the car just kind of went up on a wheel stand and just laid on back out. He's out of the race car, he's okay. Nutter is all right. Tyner, Rust, Katie, Shauna Hogue, David Budd, come down off the turn. Green is waving. Beaver to the infield of 91, and he is off the racetrack. I think we'll try to stay green. It might be possible. As they come down off of the fourth turn, we've got almost half the field passes. We do have half the field. Tyner storming into the lead with Ray Rust running second. The first lap is complete. And it looks like Greg Blevins leads the raceway after making one lap. Blevins stayed out there for a long time to make that one lap, though, as we're well underway here tonight at Silver Dollar Speedway. After a lengthy try to get this underway, it took 6 starts to get this feature off and running here tonight. It included Jason McMillan's bout with the wall, a rollover for Gary Giving, the crash involving Rick Faber, also the red for Bill Nutter, a 91K off of turn number 1, of course, Beaver, and now we've got Tyner out front, followed by Rust and Katie. Then comes Shauna Hogue. Moving up in the next spot is John Allard at 35K. Behind Allard comes the 5B of David Bodden and the 71N of Kevin Pilot. Pilot now working on Bodden and picked him off easily, exiting turn 2. The 55 car of Darren Kennedy is next, and Jason McMillan is on the move in the 2Y car. McMillan, the first red flag of the event when he got into the wall, makes changes, borrows parts from Gary Matranga's 32, and he is out in front here coming off of turn number 4, going around the 5B of Bodden easily. Here is your front cars as Tyner is up in traffic. He's lapping cars. He has lapped the 65 of Williams, the 36 of Tabor, and now comes up on Greg Brown's number 44B. Here's second place Ray Rust, third Brent Keating, 5X of Hogue, John Allard, Mark Ziske, and McMillan. Looks like the front wing broken loose on Greg Brown's 44B. Rust now lapping both the 65 of Williams and the 36 of Mark Tabor. Keating now trying to make a similar move. As you see, Brown really struggling with the 44B cars and front wing flapping in the wind affects the handling characteristics of that car rather severely. But Millen will get around Pilot with a pass off of turn number 4. As Pilot got out of the groove, McMillan slid by on the inside. Grayson Jason still going for a front row starting berth in the finale tomorrow night here at Silver Dollar. Russ gaining some of Tyner in traffic. Tyner getting all the way to the bottom of the racetrack on the Al Young number 17. And Keating trying to move up on Rust a little bit, a fight between second and third. 13 laps are in the book, 13 laps down now, as we're past the halfway point of this feature run here at Silver Dollar. 14 laps have shown on the board as we continue to go full speed on this lightning fast quarter mile. Tyner is around the 44B of Brown. He has also passed the 55 car of Kennedy, and now works on the 72 of Jeff Hallam as Hallam drops the mark. And Kading up and around Rust as they go into turn 3. Look at the front wing flapping around on Greg Brown's car as Brent comes up. Rust drops to third. Brent tries to get the bottom of Greg. Now Ray Rust will try to get him back, but Brent recovers as they go down the back chute. Kading in the number 2 spot. Rust in third. 17 laps have gone by the wayside. After starting, we've got 17 non-stop. The wing is off of Brown's car, and the yellow flag is out. Under yellow here on the 17th lap. Yellow is for the front wing off of Greg Brown's 44B. Restart on the backstretch. Randy Tyner. Tyner picks it up. Cars struggling a little bit coming through 4 as they get down to that ready spot where they had problems last night. And Tyner is off in grand fashion once again. Kading will go to the top of the racetrack trying to get around Jeff Hallam. Here comes Rust again trying to close on the restart, 18 laps deep. Now comes up on Russ, going through 3 and 4. Keating trying to get the Riola Racing 17R up to speed. Looks like Ray may have lost a little power of the 4 car. Something wrong with Rust. Here is McMillan all over him going down the backstretch. Brent still struggling a little bit in the 17R. Now Russ seems to be back to speed after the motor's cleared up, but Jason running the top of the racetrack will go into 3rd. Jason McMillan into 3rd place after causing the opening stoppage of this race. They made repairs, exchanged the fuel tank, and Jason has come all the way up to 3rd from the back of this race as he tries to close on Brent Keating in the Riola number 17R. Randy Tyner, meanwhile drives the Elm grading and paving number 17 in the front spot. As he comes past the stand, we just have about 2 laps to go. White flag will be coming up as Tyner comes off of the corner. White flag is offered. He laps the 44B of Brown coming down. Second night preliminary night winner, Randy Tyner. Brent Keating will be second in car 17R. Jason McMillan is 3rd. Then comes the 4R of Ray Russ, followed by the 5X of Shauna Hogue, 71 in. Kevin Hyland in the next position. Again, 17, 17R, 2Y, 7R, and 5X. Stand corrected, 4R and 5X in our top 5 spots here tonight. A difficult feature run in the second evening. Tomorrow night we'll be back here with more Pacific Sprint Car Racing and also the Silver Dollar Holiday Fair. As always, you'll be invited to the pits after tonight's racing program, but the crossover gate will not be opened immediately.
Right here.
Mike, go ahead and hit the light on that.
The photo's taken. We got a lot of photographers down here and a lot of anxious people ready to get through the gate.
Right over here.
Today we got some work on this entrance gate down here as the screen being pulled away when Ricky Fulmer getting into that gate. I tell you that was an exciting type incident, and I tell you the young man is extremely lucky to walk away from something like that. All right, Randy Tyner, ladies and gentlemen, that'll about do it from down here. Dennis, take it back up to you. We'll wait for that finish.
Thank you, Butch, and again, as I mentioned, it'll be a couple of minutes. We do understand there was a jump penalty assessed on the 2Y car, so this is unofficially the top 5. We're told the 17 Tyner, 17R Brent Keating, 4R Ray Rust, 5X Shauna Hogue, and 2Y Keating. Go ahead, signal now. Ferris has had some strong runs. He was a top 5 finisher at King Speedway and Hanford in the point series, as he'll be giving Larry Lightfoot a run in the front row. Lightfoot, a regular at the Placerville Speedway, also raced over at Marysville some, as well as Grass Valley. Green flag, Lightfoot gets the jump. And a spin by the 92 Andy Forsberg, and the yellow will be out. There'll be no start, no start. These 360 cubic inch Chevrolet engines are, of course, prompted by the gear ratio that's put in the rear differential, which is a quick change arrangement. And some of these teams have really selected low gears in the preliminary nights. We'll see tonight if they stay with a more conservative gear ratio. Green light is a gun, and it's Lightfoot one more time. Second try for our E main event, and Lightfoot's off the track here is Ferris. Lightfoot losing 2 spots in the process. Mark McKay into the number 2 spot. Here's Wasina hooked up too hard. He leads the racetrack over at turn number 4 and just drives cover and parks it. So Wasina out of harm's way. Yellow flag will be out this time around. 71W of Mike Wasina off the racetrack at turn number 4. It looks like we also have Mello's 2R down there. I think we have actually 2 race cars. Everybody wants to get going. You can see now that Herman Klein has left quite a bit of space in between himself and the 86. Oh, and a bump over there by the 72B as we saw Glenn Borden run up in the air, but he recovers quickly, and we're back underway here in this E-main event in Chico during this Pacific Sprint Fall National. Again, it's the 41 car of Andy Ferris heading this one, followed by Mark McKay, Herman Klein. Then comes the 26 of Larry Lightfoot, and the battle between Mike Morlock at 10H and the 3D of Dave Davidson. Now we've got Alan Howell slowing down in car number 15, and on the infield is the 72B of Glenn Borden. Borden off the racetrack in turn number 2, but he is well onto the infield. Yellow flag is waving, though. Also, Forsberg in the 92 stopping on the backstretch, so 2 incidents. Originally, it was for the 72B. Well, everybody a little calmer for this go-around, as we don't have near the clamoring in the backstretch. Morlock off the edge in turn number 1. He kicks up a cloud of dust down there. He keeps it going and just drives around in a small circle, but he appears to be like he'll return back to the racetrack. Mike Morlock at car number 10H is being lapped, however, in the process, as Atwater's driver, Andy Ferris, leads this race. He is chased by Mark McKay, a rookie driver this season. Then comes the 40 of Herman Klein, 26 Larry Lightfoot, and off the edge over here, I believe, is Forsberg, and the red flag is out. So maybe it would have been more appropriate to pack it in after that last problem, as we double check now over here at turn number 4. We're told the driver is all right. Andy Forsberg, crawling up and out of that race car, is all right. 7 down, 3 to go. Restart on the backstretch. Andy Ferris picks up the pace. Everybody's right there hanging on. Ferris handles the restart pretty much as advertised, as he rushes out in front of this one with McKay in the number 2 spot. Remember, the fight for third now is between Lightfoot and Davidson, 2 Auburn drivers. Lightfoot currently holding the spot. Davidson solidly in 4th. Then comes Denny Stewart, Steve Stein, and the white flag is offered. Checkered flag will be waving for the 41 of Andy Ferris as he picks up the victory over 86 McKay. Then comes Lightfoot, Davidson, Stewart, and Stein across the line. Again, we'll have to verify those spots. Van Leer and Abizade. Abizade racing here all season on this quarter mile, but his rookie year in sprint cars, racing late models previously. We're coming up to green here in our D main event. 12 laps of distance, and we're starting. Don't know what happened to the 17Y, but he tried to get in the gas and something would not respond for Rob Johnson. He pulls out of the alignment. Dave Davidson gets out of the groove for some reason in the 3D. And a couple of the cars hook up hard in turn number 4, but we're green. Mark Abizade, your leader, followed by the number 5 of Jim Van Leer. Then comes the 89 of Freddie Pleward in third position, followed by David McCurry in car number 78. Mark McKay follows him in the 86, and Ferris on the 41. Two of the combatants from our previous E-main as Ferris now sizes up McKay in the back straightaway. 2 laps complete. Lap number 3 ticks off with Abizade hard in the throttle down the front straightaway. Remember here, it's only 3 transferring cars for the moment. It's Abizade, followed by Van Leer and Pleward. But McCurry is all over Pleward going into turn number 3. Now Ferris is charging up in the 41 car. Andy Ferris on the move here. The Atwater drive pushing the Ed and Darla Nick Tognani forward. And he's got to go some now as Van Leer closes in. But the yellow flag is out. Caution flag, Steve Stein off of the north turn in the 34X. Down the backstretch they go. Abizade brings him in very gently. Now he gets the throttle up. That red just goes away on Van Leer's car. Somebody got the cone, I believe. I'm not sure. We got trouble over here for Ferris in the 41 car. And it'll be a yellow. Yellow lights out. It's Ferris parked in turn number 4. So the winner of our E-main Abizade has brought the last 2 starts very slowly down to the line. That's part of the problem, is he's really got him jammed up behind him. Smoke coming off of Borlock's 10H in the restart. And everybody's still scampering to get through the corner. 72B gets off the corner. Borden is out of shape, but back up on the racetrack. Now going up against Kerry Wood coming down through 3 and 4. Morlock is really hard on the gas as well. Mark Abizade, followed by the 5 of Jim Van Leer, then Freddie Pleward in 89, 78 David McCurry, 86 Mark McKay, and 97 Jay Hartjoy. Abizade working the top of the racetrack coming off of turn 4, and he really barrels into turn number 1 right about the middle of the racetrack. He's going to be in traffic though at this pace. Now with 7 laps, it'll be the 8th lap or the 3/4 mark of this 12-lap run here in this D main event for this Pacific Sprint Fall Nationals at Silver Dollar Speedway. Your leader, Mark Abizade, coming up on Kerry Wood. He gets a little cautious down there, and we've got a yellow out that'll spread this thing back out. A yellow flag is out. 17Y car off of turn number 4, Rob Johnson to cause the yellow flag with 8 laps complete, 8 laps down. Well, Abizade on the throttle, and we've got trouble down here now for the 97J of Hartjoy. Hartjoy off of turn number 4, and another yellow flag is needed. Well, continue to attend to Hartjoy. I don't believe there's a serious concern, but they did want to double check his conditions over here. And the checkered flag will be thrown on this race. Checkered flag is out on this race. So as they cross the line, we have now picked up the finishing order. So it'll be back to the way we saw them cross the line on lap 8 is the way this will finish, and we'll be moving the cars into the C main for that starting grid. So again, our D main event has concluded. C is a scratch for our B main, and so that means 3 positions will be transferring. 3 positions will transfer. C main cars, 3 positions available, coming down off of the corner, the start. 5V of Vaughn and 55 Kennedy into the corner. Kennedy escapes. Here comes Nutter into the number 2 position as we're underway in our C main here in Chico. Couple of cars getting hooked up a little hard in turn 3 and 4 as we spread out a little bit. And here's Tyson Cross making a bid in the 09 as he moves up and around the 5V of David Vodden. So Tyson Cross into the top 3 for the possible 3 transfer positions that are at stake here tonight. And trouble now for Jay Smith, number 21, as he almost gets upset in turn number 2, but he continues on all right, as Kennedy is now pressed by Nutter going through 1 and 2. 4 laps complete, now lap 5. This is scheduled to go 15 as Nutter tries to reel in the fast-moving Kennedy. Nutter really gets the traction coming off the turns. Kennedy drifting a little high, Nutter right down on the bottom as they go through turns 2 and 4. That seems to be the acceleration lane for Bill Nutter. Tyson Cross a solid 3rd while David Vodden runs in 4th all by himself. Next in line is car number 65, Rick Williams. And here comes the 15 of Mark Ziske as he bumps into Williams, passing him, coming down through 3 and 4. Then the 37 now gaining a position, Mark Hewson. So Hewson gains some in the process as Williams goes back a couple of spots. Now your lead cars up on the back of the field and very close together, the top 3, as Kennedy, Nutter, and Cross all bail into turn 3. Kennedy has to be making some choices. Kennedy, the Canadian, he comes from Vancouver Island. At the Nanos, he goes up on the 0J and passes the 0J through the corner, Jay Cole. So Kennedy passing him successfully, and now Nutter and also the 09 of Cross do so as well. 10 laps down, 2/3 of the distance. This will be lap 11 as they cross the line, still with Darren Kennedy and car number 55, the 91 Gambler that races at Cassidy Speedway, currently being pursued by the Oregon driver Bill Nutter, who is also a Pacific Northwest champion. Tyson Cross next in line. Then we have the 5V of Vaughn, 15W Ziske has moved up, as has the 37 of Mark Hewson. 12 laps are complete. This will be the 13th round as our leader flashes by, still being pressed hard by Nutter down through 1 and 2. Into the north corner, Kennedy swings out a little high, trying to get traction. Nutter doesn't quite get the bottom line run as 14 laps are down. The white flag is out. It's a tight one. It'll go right down to the wire, but now Kennedy pulls out all stops, headed down the backstretch, and coming through turn 3 and 4, car number 55, Darren Kennedy. Bill Nutter in a fine second place finish, then 09 Tyson Cross, followed by David Vodden and the 15W of Mark Ziske. Next will be 37, Mark Hewson. Well, certainly a fine race for our C-Main event cars. Our congratulations to all of the starters for running a good, clean, solid 15 laps here in Chico. 45 car Gary Morgan has dropped to the back. Randy Ridge in car number 12, now joined by Mike McCreary in the inside at 71. The inside row benefiting here as both Morgan drops back and Scooter Lambert drops out. So the inside row gaining a considerable position. Then it'll be Ivan Warden in 63, Danny Main in 35, 71, Kevin Pilot, 54, Mark Hall, Jason Finley in the 77, 7 in, driven by Glenn Bonet. 55 Kennedy. 3 Nutter, then 09 Tyson, and 5V Vodden, the alternate, is out there, but I don't think there's a spot for him. So apparently, whatever the problem for Tyson Cross in the 09, after transferring, he made repairs. He's back to run this event.
54 goes behind 77 on the outside.
Through the north corner, the green is waving. Good looking start. That 7-cylinder Chevrolet is doing a pretty good job, but wildly off the end, high in the air. Wildly going off of turn number 2. We're waiting for a report. We believe it was the 3X car giving, but we're waiting to verify that. He is out of there. Gary Giving is okay, ladies and gentlemen, and that wild ride. He's waving back here now at us. It was kind of a gentle wave, but what a tough weekend for Giving. He had a brand new airfoil on there. That's the first time the airfoil's gone around the racetrack, and what's the end result? Gary's just kind of sitting there on the edge of the race car reflecting right at the moment is the best thing I could tell you. What a tough break. As he exits his race car, he's all right, but severe damage to it. Pace Jeep is off. Green is again waving. This time it's Faber jumping into the lead in car number 17. As we get into the corner, bump and run in turn number 1, but everybody so far through there successfully. And Danny Mean gets up over the edge between 3 and 4. Tyson Cross struggling again on the 09. Maybe repairs were not successfully made. Meanwhile, it's a 17X of Rick Faber out in front. Second currently is Greg Blevins in the 5B, followed by 44B, Greg Brown. Dropping out is the 45 of Morgan now, as 36 in. Tabor is next in line, then Ridge in the number 12. Behind Ridge comes the 7 in Glenn Bonet. Mark Hall in the 54 car, chased by 63 Ivan Warden. So far, Faber is hanging on to this one. At this pace, though, he'll soon be in traffic, as endurance may come to play in this event. Remember again, the 5 of Blevins running only 7/8 of an engine, but it seems to be the best 7/8 of this one. 5 laps complete, 15 to go. Rick Faber coming into traffic as he moves up on Danny Means, number 35, who's at the rear of this pack. Faber looks at Maine, and of course Tyson Cross not far in front of him. As he comes into turn 1, he tries to go to the bottom, but Maine is already there passing Cross, so Faber may have to take a similar route going into turn 3, but Cross keeps the bottom pretty well covered, and Faber may have to come up out of the groove to do anything with those lapped cars. Meanwhile, Blevins, Brown, and Tabor follow. Then comes Randy Ridge, Glenn Bonet. Mark Hall with a broken wing. The wing mount on the front of Mark Hall's car, a problem, and he comes up on the backstretch to stop the race.
Hello.
9 laps complete, 9 down, with a broken wing mount on Mark Hall's number 54, causing the yellow.
45 made 1 lap and
actually running the 64 chassis. That's a Jenkins chassis that Rod Faber brought down for Keith Kaufman. Really bunching up on the backstretch for the start. Ridge getting around Tabor. And looks like we've got the 7N of Bonet in the picture as Ivan Warden advances as well. So some major changes on the restart of this B main event here in Chico. Now with 10 laps complete. Rick Faber, Greg Blevins, Greg Brown, now Glenn Bonet, Randy Ridge, Ivan Warden, Mark Tabor, Jason Finley, Kevin Pilot in the 71N, the 3 of Bill Nutter, 35K, John Allard, then 71 Mike McCreary, Tyson Cross in the 0955 Darren Kennedy, at 35 Dan Main. As your field with 12 laps now gone of the scheduled 20 for this B feature in this Pacific Sprint Car Fall National. Final race of 1994 here at Silver Dollar Speedway, and it's number 13 up on the board as Faber continues to head this race. He has built a full straightaway advantage over Greg Blevins as he enters turn 1. Blevins exits turn 4. We got a car stopped at 3 and 4, and a yellow is out. Believe it's Ivan Warden, 63, parked between 3 and 4. Warden just suddenly stopping up there. We couldn't tell what happened. Restart time once again. Oh, look at Bonet trying to gun down Greg Brown. Brown gets a little out of the groove here in turn 4, but they're all on the gas going for the first turn. And Randy Ridge is now challenging in the number 12 car. You can see everybody struggling just a little bit over here in the turn. It was a little contact between Tabor in the 36N and Kevin Pilot in the 71 car, but both continue on safely. Now with 16 laps down, Faber shoots by the line. Remember, 4 spots. Trouble here in front of us as we get Finley and McCreary hooked together in another yellow. Another yellow as it's McCreary and Finley locked up, sliding along here in the front straightaway. Concern here is McCreary's right front tire jammed up against the roll cage on Finley's 77. Checkered flag will end this race as this B feature is complete. We'll be calling up our feature cars, but we have to allow some time for the transfer cars to make repairs. So we'll be untangling the situation in front of us 16 laps into our event.
Transfer cars 17X, 5D, 44D, 7N, alternates 12 and 36N.
Waving the alternate Randy Ridge to the pits as the field is full. So Ridge, who had high hopes, the Snohomish, Washington driver, had planned to be in that feature. And they're getting the go-ahead signal here tonight for this 40-lap run here at Silver Dollar. Again, they're told on the backstretch as we look up and see him coming down off of turn number 4. It's the Fall Nationals green light. And Erton a little out of shape as McMillan is the first man to the turn. As we get them bunched up in turn one, they begin to spread out down the backstretch. Katie got through around Bradway, it looked like. We see some brake sparks down here in turn 3 and 4 now as they're 3 abreast coming down the front straightaway. Heavy traffic into turn 1. The first lap is complete. And the leader is the 2Y of Jason McMillan. Kevin Urton follows. Then comes the 17 of Randy Tyner. 44C Sparky Howard in the next spot, and then 4R Ray Rust. As it stands right now, the racing is most difficult in the rear of the grid as your fields begin to spread out here quickly in this feature run. Down cars will be a major factor at this pace without any yellows. 3 laps complete as we see McMillan approaching Jeremy Lowe's number 11 car and Greg Brown in the 44B. Down here in 3 and 4, you can see the cars are going 2 and 3 and 4 abreast at times. A little swipe there on Jim Richardson's number 51. And now it's Blevins out of the groove. He will be the first car to go down a lap. Greg Blevins at 5B. McMillan off the edge for a moment. He was off the edge while lapping. And he gets back in the groove here. Clearly underway, Randy Tyner now moves around Kevin Urton. A turn 2 pass for Tyner as Urton is right back around him. And there's the battle developing for second between Kevin Urton and Randy Tyner as they close on the leader, Jason McMillan. McMillan passing the 11L of Jeremy Lowe. He has already lapped Blevins' 5B. Now works up on Greg Brown. In traffic, he gets around 51 Richardson, who's down a mark. McMillan working all of the racetrack, comes up on Brown on the high side. Meantime, Tyner again trying to gun down Urton as they go into turn 3. Urton up behind Blevins. Tyner running the high side. Now Urton goes to the top. Dropping out appears to be Bradway in the 80 car. Bradway in car number 80 drops out. Here's Urton and Tyner fighting it out into turn number 3. In traffic, Tyner in a little trouble. Urton drifts high, but Urton keeps the spot as he goes around Low. Meantime, it's McMillan fighting it out with Greg Brown on the back straightaway. Kevin Urton, Randy Tyner. Here comes Sparky Howard into the picture, and Shane Scott on the move in the 24F. Scott dies between Lowe and Howard, and now we've got him jammed up. We've got Russ down there. On the infield was Taves for just a moment, but he keeps going now with 12 laps complete. 12 laps down. Jason McMillan, your leader in car number 2Y. Second is currently the 14 of Kevin Urton. 17, Randy Tyner is next as he gets out of the groove here. Shane Scott will go into third spot in car number 24F. Sparky Howard is behind him. Then comes the 4R of Rust, 88 McMahon, and 17R Katie. 14th lap pass by Shane Scott moves him up 1 position. Scott now all over Urton. He goes around Tyner. He's obviously the fastest man here tonight. He still continues to reel him in. The track champion, Shane Scott. Up behind Urton, down through 3 and 4. McMillan is gone, though, as he works on Greg Brown down through 1 and 2. McMillan giving Brown lots of room. His team is probably giving him messages now as Tyner closes back up on Scott. Howard is there as well in the 44C. 17 laps in the book. 18 now ticked off. As McMillan is past us, there goes Blevins out in car number 5B. Greg Blevins dropping out in the 5B car. Fast-paced main event here in Chico. We continue to hammer down this one. Now slowing up is Lowe in the 11L car. He is in jeopardy of going down. He does go down another lap to McMillan. McMillan now working on Brown coming down the front stretch. This has been a race between Brown and McMillan lap after lap. And Jason laps Greg Brown and puts Brown off the racetrack in the 44B now. And red flag is out. We've also got a car over in the third corner. Rich Tyner in car number 20 on his side, and turn number 3, we're under red here in this event with 20 laps down. 20 laps are complete, halfway. We run without an interruption until Tyner sets the car on its side. Greg Brown slides off in the 44B as he is being lapped. Tyner is out of that race car, ladies and gentlemen. He's okay. Rich Tyner up and out of his machine is all right, and they're calling for a tow truck to remove the 20 car. Track cleared. McMillan will pick it up on the back stretch. But he's looking for a spot. Jason brings him gently down the back straightaway, picks it up. Everybody seems to stay in pretty good formation. The green light is out. Trouble here in the fourth turn. I think it was Ray Rust that was so high. And it's Faber once again. How could it be 2 nights in a row for Faber? This time he gets the wheel fence right in front of us. So 2 consecutive nights Faber, this time not quite as devastating to the race car, but certainly as devastating or more so to the fence. As the 17X car, second time in 2 nights. And we'll have to get a fence crew out here to attend to this. Good news is Faber's up and out and marching away. There he goes down into the first turn on the infield edge. So 2 nights in a row he walks away from a missile. And now the discussion about how to attend to this fence here. So we'll need to get a tow vehicle over here on the 17X, and we'll also need to get equipment for the fence here. Pace vehicle is pulled off. McMillan on the backstretch. Here goes Tyner on the top as he goes around Scott, and then he hooks up too hard in turn number 4, and he gets out of the groove, losing 3 positions. Tyner on the start in trouble. As we go back to green, McMillan storms away, and it's beavered off of turn number 1 and 2 in the 91K car. He just drives it away. I think Bill Beavert's all done for the night. Jason McMillan back at full speed here at Silver Dollar Speedway. The lap car of Jim Richardson is next in line, then the 14 of Kevin Urton, followed by Shane Scott in the 24F 4R Ray Rust. Then 5X down a lap is Shauna Hogue. Randy Tyner trying to regain his composure, followed by 44C Sparky Howard in car number 88. Bobby McMahon. Now we see McMillan back into lap traffic. He comes up on the 20 car of Tyner and laps him safely and works on Jeremy Lowe's 11L now. Urton gets around Richardson, has some running room as there's a almost clear track, as now we see 2 cars between McMillan and second place Kevin Urton. Shane Scott is third, fourth is Ray Rust, and we've got a yellow. Debris in turn number 1 to draw the yellow light. Everything happened here this particular weekend, and he is back out. Sparks flying off the back of the car. Borrowed a wing from the Jack Gordon RV team. Looks like the tail tank is damaged. In fact, they've taken the bumper off, and the tank is flat enough that they were able to push start the car, but that's very difficult when the bumper's gone off the back of the race car. McMillan picks it up, low down a lap. Here comes Urton, some clear running room. Scott gets up in there. Coming down through 3 and 4, it is Jason McMillan, Kevin Urton, and Shane Scott, all with clear running room now. This time the top 3 are even. in the restart situation. Ray Rust back behind 2-lap cars in fourth. Jeremy Lowe is there as well behind. Now Bobby McMahon makes a clean cut. Here comes Stephen Allard in 83. Brent Keating trying to move up in the 17R. Heavy traffic between 3 and 4. Jeremy Lowe slow in the 11L car. Think he may be dropping out. No, he stays out there despite the slowdown. And again, McMillan into traffic. This time 2 very slow cars directly in front of him. Lowe and Tyner. He goes to the top of Lowe. Now he goes around him on the high side. Sparks coming off of Richardson's 51 as he leaves the racetrack. Richardson with something sparking on the back of his car. McMillan around both the 11L of Lowe and the 20 car of Rich Tyner. Urton has also made the same passes, as has Shane Scott, now with 30 laps complete in this 40-lap main event, actually 31 up on the board now. McMillan running just virtually anywhere he wants to go on this racetrack. Anywhere, top, bottom, he's got them covered. Jason has got the setup. He mentioned last night that midget racing had made him a better driver because the midgets are underpowered compared to a sprint car, and he's had to settle into a steady groove and not rely so much on the motor doing the job. Scott now is all over Kevin Urton as they come down the front stretch with 34 laps complete. Scott almost gets him going into turn 1. I think Kevin saw the front of the 24F car and he picks up the pace slightly. 35 laps down. We've got 5 laps to go. McMillan lapping both the 7N of Glenn Bonet and the 34 Jim Taves, both down a lap to the leader at this stage of the game. McMillan with some clear running room. Here comes Scott pulling up on Urton as they go for turn number 3. It's even into that corner. McMillan held up slightly, now goes by Tyner for a second time in car number 20. He goes now to the top of the racetrack to pass 5X Shauna Hogue. And now on the bottom, he goes around Lowe once again. What a good series of runs by McMillan as he just wheels through the traffic. Now Scott goes to the high side of the racetrack as the white flag comes out. Kevin Urton still running in second. Scott is third. McMillan down the backstretch, about to score a $3,500 victory here at Silver Dollar Speedway. Racing Jason McMillan. Second place still being decided. It will be Kevin Urton, followed by Shane Scott, Ray Rust, Brent Keating in the 17R. And beyond that, it'll take some recap. I think we've got McMahon in the 88N and possibly the 17 of Randy Tyner. But Jason McMillan definitely had this one in his pocket. He owned this racetrack tonight. He is followed by the 14 car of Kevin Urton and 20.
Had a pretty decent run last night, and then come back out here tonight and this thing runs flawless. What can you say?
All I did is make left circles. I had a superior car. My crew was awesome. They proved that last night. I mean, they not only fixed my car, but they had to take another car apart to put mine together in that time. And, you know, they made it stick, and it ran well last night. And tonight it was just, we just took off from where we started last night. The car was, all I had to do was point it and shoot. You know, when I drive for my dad and my brother and their crew, I don't have to think about the race car. It's just, I know it's going to be a good car under me, and we just go for it from there.